Welcome to the second episode of Leetcode problems. Today we are going to take our first medium difficulty problem, which is add two numbers. This is the first problem about the linked list. And basically what we need to do here on the high level is add two linked lists, or create a new linked list based on the addition of the numbers of two linked lists. So let's go over the requirements here first, and then let's start cracking this question. So you are giving two non-empty, so we know that both of the linked lists that we are going to get are not going to be empty. Linked list representing two non-negative integers. So only positive integers. The digits are stored in reverse order. And what that means is that basically our list is 2, 4, 3, 5, 6, 4, but the output is it has to be 8, 0, 7. So here we add 2, 5, 7, 4, 6, 10, but since we cannot store, or based on the requirement, we cannot store more than a 9 in this single. It's not that, sorry. It's not based on the requirement, but basically what they want us to do is to treat these numbers as real numbers, right? So instead of seeing it as a linked list, we actually are adding the numbers. And in this case, we have a carry when we have more than 9, right? Based on the math, when we add 4 and 6 here, we will carry 1 to the next number. So let's go next. And each of their nodes contain a single digit. Okay, so this is the requirement actually. Add the two numbers and return the sum as linked list. You may assume the two numbers do not contain any leading 0 except the number 0 itself. Okay, so immediate oh, by the way, we have these beautiful use cases where we have in one list more numbers than the other, right? And based on the requirement again, in this case we have like 3, 6, 7 digits plus 4 digits, and the output is going to be 8 digits, right? Because like what is the number? 9,999,999 plus 1 is going to add additional number, and basically our linked list will grow in size based on the addition here. So we have to be careful about all of these use cases. Now immediate desire for me is would be the simple solution, which is go through the first linked list, get the numbers, go through the second linked list, get the numbers, add those numbers, and then create a new linked list based on the just cutting the numbers one by one, or digits out of that number one by one and adding it into the linked list. But that's basically a naive approach, and it's gonna based on the time complexity, it's probably of n, but the space complexity is going to grow, right? So let's start our coding part of the problem. So first, what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a temp node, basically a new list node, which is the empty node, right? Then I'm going to create our current node, and I will assign temp to it. What it will do is basically when we are going to update the current node, since we are making a reference, it's going to be updating the temp node as well, right? Now I'm going to say while we have L1 and L2, because we know that we might have one of them might be longer. So I will check either one. So we are going to do this loop until we reach the end L1 or L2, right? So while we have L1 or L2, and then I'm gonna create or what we need to do, we need to get the values of our L1 and L2 in each of the iterations. So I'm going to create a constant val1, which is going to be if we have L1, because remember we might be in the position when we still have L2 but we don't have L1 anymore. So we need to check if we have it. Then we will get the value. Otherwise we will have 0. So we always know that our val1 is a number. And the same for our val2, right? So L2, L2, L2. Great. Okay. Now what I want to do is I want to create a val variable where I will add val1 plus val2. So this is our basically addition, right? So if you have 2 and 5, then the val is going to be 7, right? But now, what if we are here and basically what we have is 4 plus 6 is 10, and we know that we need to move 1 to the next digit, right? The 1 is a carry. So what to do? So we need to account for that. And what I'm going to do is this. If our val is greater than 9, so we know that is going to have a carry, right? And I'm going to, and so what we need to do is we need to create a carry here, which we will initialize to 0, right? And now I'm going to say, in this case, carry is going to be 1, right? So we have when our value or our addition sum is greater than 9, then we will carry 1 to the next point, right? But also that means that we need to get the second number and basically modify val. We cannot have val as 10 anymore. So again, if you're talking about this specific scenario, 4 plus 6 is 10, right? And what we are saying, we taking 1 and moving to the next point, right? So that means that this iteration, we are left with 0. So we need to modify our val and get the 0. To do it, we just mod it to 10, right? So this will basically cut the first, or it will get the last digit. But also if we are not, or if our val is not greater than 9, then we need to assign 0 to our carry, because basically if on this iteration we set carry to 1, right? Then on the next iteration we will use that 1, and then we will need to reassign that to 0 unless we have this situation again. All right, great. What next? Now we are going to create our current next. We will assign a new list node, and basically we are creating a node, we are passing our val, and we are assigning to the next of the current. And then we need to set our pointer to the next, which is current next, right? So we basically are going through or we are creating our list dynamically on every time we have a value, right? Or every time we are still have L1 or L2. Okay, and also we need to change our position within L1, L2, so next time we can go and like one by one, right? The first iteration, second, third, and stop. So to do that, we want to check if L1 exists, then we will take L1 next. Otherwise, it's gonna be null, right? The same for L2. L2, L2. And that's because we, as I said, here in this example, we might have L1 might be longer than L2 or vice versa. Okay, and lastly, we are going to return our temp.next. And the reason we are returning temp.next and not temp is that because we created this dummy node, which was just a holder for our newly created linked list, but it actually doesn't have any value in it, right? So, and this looks like should work, but actually it's not gonna work. In some cases it will, in some cases it will not work. And the reason for that is that there is one additional use case where we might have a something like this. This is the linked list, right? So 1, 2, and then 5, and then 1, 2, and then 5, right? So these are two the same. So this is L1, this is L2, and the result is going to be a new linked list which is going to have 2, 4, 0, because 5 plus 5 is 10, so we will leave our 0 here and then add 1 here. So we will extend our linked list by 1 at the end. So at this point, we don't have L1 is not there anymore, L2 is not there anymore. So there's nothing, we cannot have this iteration to add that, create that last node. And to fix that problem, we have to add here additional condition, which is carry, right? So if carry exists, then we will have that last iteration. And at that point, our val1 is going to be 0, val2 is going to be 0 since we don't have them. But here we want to actually add our carry, right? So yeah, see, I forgot to add it before, but actually we really need that because if we have a carry, we want to add it next iteration, right? And this has to work. Let's test it. Okay, we have some kind of problem. Let me see real quick. Something is wrong. So L1, L2 carry. Okay, val1, val2 carry. So we have val. If val is greater than 9, then carry is 1, and val is equal val mod 10, else carry 0. Then we say current next is new list node with val, current next, and then L1 is, if it exists, we going next. Okay, so this is the problem. I forgot to update L1 to L2. I'll try again. Great, so let's try to submit and see if all of the use cases are going to be passed. Great job. So the runtime is 220 milliseconds faster than 14.14 of JavaScript Online submissions. Yeah. This is our solution. Please, as always, like and subscribe to my channel. Comment in the comment section below. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. If you maybe have some additions to this specific solution, or maybe you see some things that might be improved, also leave the comment. And thank you very much for being with me. See you next time. Bye.